right, so we got another episode here. Chase and I will talk about what's going on in online marketing. Hi, Chase.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, so the second episode, I'm really excited. When we get to 100, then I'm going to really celebrate. But first of all, I want to know what's the surf today in Sayulita?
It might be a little something. I don't know. I didn't check, but I saw a lot of boards on roofs this morning on my way in.
All right, good. So I want to talk about Google. You want to talk about Facebook. I'll let you go first because I went first the last time.
Sure. So I think the most interesting thing that I saw last week, or this past week, is Facebook's rolling out this new feature called See First, which I think is really cool. And I think when Facebook dropped their organic exposure or reach, everybody was up in arms. And although as a marketer we completely understand that, it's actually a great thing that you can pay to have your posts shown to people that are super relevant. But now there's this new feature called See First, where if somebody really wants to see your content, they can kind of tag it and pin it to the top of their feed. So whatever you put out, Facebook's going to make sure that you see it before you see anything else. And so it's kind of being deemed like the holy grail of marketers now. Which it is. I just think, to get to the top of somebody's feed, you're going to have to be putting out some great stuff.
Well, that goes along with our whole story, right? Which is that if you have good stuff, you'll get found, you'll get shared, you'll get liked, or whatever you want to say. But the reality is if you're solid, you're solid. If you're putting out...
And if you're solid, Facebook's, they're really throwing you a bone here, and it's kind of coming back around where, you used to be able to dominate your organic traffic within Facebook, and then they took it away, and now they're bringing it back.
Well, I think that's the whole thing. I mean, everybody screamed a foul because Facebook said, screw you, we're going to change the whole algorithm up. You're not going to be found. 2% of your stuff's going to be shown. And now, look, you want to step up, then do it right, and you'll be found. So I think it really is another thing, and this is why they started doing video. I think a lot more because we know that video stuff gets, way more traction. And if you put it into the native platform, not into YouTube or any of these other platforms, in Google's video, I mean, this is Facebook's video. I think this is really the beginning of sort of like Facebook taking a chunk out of Google. And this is appropriate. I mean, because at the end of the day, this is what I wanted to talk about. Google's doing something that I think is just killing people, which is they're just rifling off left and right, trying to get people out of the organic search results. I think since I've seen the CPC costs or the cost per clicks go down in Google's stock, if you look at their 10K or whatever their stock portfolio deal is, you'll see the cost per click's gone down 13% last quarter. And what that basically says to the shareholders, like, look, Google's not making more money; they're making less money in Google Ads. So what do? So the only thing they can do is really knock out more organic. And now we saw June 16th, another little algorithm go through. Now people are saying it was cricket. So, we have these penguins and pandas and hummingbirds and whatever else they're going to make up. So, but another one shook through, and it might have just been an algorithm reshuffling. But most people are saying that this is kind of the continual conundrum of destabilization of the platform. Now, interestingly enough, you see now Bing getting into the game, and Bing is taking away all the data. So just like Google, if you look in your Google Analytics, it will see not provided. It will see like 90% is not provided. So you won't know what people are searching for in your organic search. Now Bing didn't do that up until basically just recently they announced they are going to now do not provided. So they're going to get into the game, which kind of tells me a factor that this is more serious than we think it. We think that maybe this is the beginning of Google losing a little bit more share than it thinks it is, because if Bing is serious enough to say, hey, look, we can start to copy Google's model where they don't provide any data, maybe they're getting enough out of it to say, look, we could make a run at this. Let's become, more. Now, we've always said, Bing is a loss leader in the factor of doing, search, but this is certainly an indication that things are changing, and we really do feel that a lot of people are upset.
There's certainly the sentiment, and people want to get away from Google. I don't really think that they trust Google anymore. This idea of them being, do no evil, I think is kind of worn off. I think people are really starting to realize it, me included. I mean, I've been a big Google fan, and I have to say, in the past week, I've had 2 conversations with Google reps on behalf of one of our clients who's having some trouble with getting the retargeting approved, and they're in a situation where two of their direct competitors are retargeting, but they're being denied. And so I've been having these conversations. Why is that? How can one get in and not the other, et cetera? And I was shocked at how frank they were. We're basically saying like, well, they spend 10 times more than your client does.
Right.
And I said, so you're basically saying that their spend has exempt them from the policy. And he's like, well, I can't say that, but I'll just say that they spend 10 times more than your client. And I was flabbergasted.
Well, right. It's the same thing we see all over, right? It's just that eventually that works against the company. At some level, people start to make decisions, and I think we start to see an Apple search engine or another search engine from Facebook that wasn't anticipated, and all of a sudden there's a shift, and people just get used to it. Yeah, because they're going to get used to what's on their phone more than anything else, I think, and that's the one thing, is that how do you make that jump? So we'll see who comes in next. I do think we'll start to see, some changing of the guard, but it won't happen anytime soon. But
no, I mean, they're still a giant, but you're seeing Facebook make these deals with, like, I think the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or something, where they're actually going to publish all of their content within Facebook, not on their website anymore.
Right.
So, I mean, if more people start jumping on board with that, Facebook itself is a search engine. Why would you need to leave?
Well, and that's true, and there are other elements that are out there that are collecting data. So behind the scenes, and they're not very public, but there are very big companies collecting lots of data on the internet to become aggregators, content aggregators. And we'll start to see maybe different types of things that are coming. And we'll put links to some of that stuff in this episode. Chase, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think it's about time to get to work.
All right. Good. You enjoy the surf later on today. If you can let me know if we got a good set in, I'd appreciate it. All right.
Get you down here.
Looking for a number 3 episode.
All right. Talk to you soon.